If I look at the trouble every night on TV, I might lose hope, I might lose faith in the people I meet. If it takes a village, then the world is our town, looking out for each other, one for another.
Hello and welcome to People for People. I am your host, Tammy Allen, and it is my pleasure to be here this morning with Ira Blumenthal from Captain Planet. Good morning, Ira. How are you today?
I am doing great. It's going to be a great year. It doesn't matter what the doomsday prophets are forecasting about 2009. It's going to be a great year because it's all about attitude and all about doing good things. Well, yeah, it is. It is about change. So it's great to be here. Great to be here.
Thank you so much. And can you tell us a little bit about Captain Planet, how it got started, and what it's all about?
Yeah, it started right here in Atlanta. You know, there's a gentleman in town you probably heard of. Okay, the guy is a media mogul, a philanthropist, but most importantly, an environmentalist, and his name is Ted Turner.
I've heard of him.
Yeah, he's been around for a little while. And Ted, visionary guy, felt that television really needed to bring forth some sort of environmental message, and we're better to start than with children. So Ted was the catalyst back in the early days of TBS.
I kind of like that name too, Captain Planet.
Well, and there are some folks that believe Captain Planet is actually Captain Courageous, which is Ted, but which is kind of interesting because Captain Planet has 5 Planeteers, and it's interesting that Ted has 5 children. So, there's been a little, but Ted was the founder of Captain Planet. It became a cartoon show in 1991, won all kinds of awards. And Ted, again, being a philanthropist and being an environmentalist, felt we're selling lots of skateboards and T-shirts and licensed goods. Let's take some of that money, establish a foundation, and use that money to help educate children about the environment. So that's where it started, and it's and we are the Captain Planet Foundation.
And so even in the cartoons and everything, it's teaching children about environmental issues and how to honor.
Well, yeah, absolutely. And almost directly from our mission statement, the Captain Planet Foundation is about educating and inspiring children to be great stewards of the planet and live eco-friendly lives. Now, Ted coined an expression in 1991, which is stuck, and people use it all the time now. It's called edutainment. Why can't we entertain, but concurrently also bring forth a message? And that's where it came from. Yeah.
Children, that's the only way they really learn. If you make it too, you must sit down and study this. I mean,
even as adults, we're motivated by what? Music and lights and sound and pizzazz and acting. And what's interesting though, if you look at, and it really doesn't matter what religious persuasion one might be, whether it's the New Testament, the Old Testament, the Book of Mormon, the Koran, whatever it may be, every book that was written on religion talk about how the children will lead us. The child is the father of the man, and by the hand and by the heart they will teach us to be free, and on and on and on. The idea is if we're going to change the world, if we're going to save the planet, it's going to start in the minds and the hearts of some 2nd or 3rd or 4th graders. So that's the mission, that's the vision.
I was thinking about, Indians, obviously, many other cultures, they were in harmony with, taking care of the earth and their surroundings, and we've kind of really gotten away with that, with the whole industrial age, and we want more and more and more and more and more. And so I was thinking about, you got a lot of fanatics, but you can live in harmony and still not suffer, your lifestyle either.
Well,
you just have to find new creative ways, but you don't have to go back to, I'm going to live off the earth and,
Well, but it's our responsibility. We were given the earth; it was entrusted in our care. And when people hear about environmentalists or conservationists, the first thing they think about is, a radical, a tree hugger. It's not about that. It's not about that at all. This is about social responsibility. It's socially responsible for a child to turn a light off upstairs when they're watching TV downstairs.
Right.
It's socially responsible not to let the water faucet run when, right here in the state of Georgia we have terrible water problems. So it's about doing good. That's all it is. It's about doing good for our planet, for our world. That's a term that's near and dear to you.
I know that term. Yeah. So tell me about how you came to be involved with Captain Planet.
Have a good friend in town named George McCarrow. George McCarrow was the founder of Longhorn steak houses
Right,
and
right.
other businesses, other enterprises. And I'm a business guy. I have a consulting company that has been the longest running retainer-based consultant in Coke's history.
Wow.
Going on 19 years. My wife runs that business now. And George and I had a conversation and said, it's time in your life to move from the world of enterprise to doing something more significant. Now, I coach Little League Baseball, and I'm involved in some other things. So he gave me a book, and the book was entitled Playing Life's Second Half, A Man's Guide for Turning Success into Significance. Okay. So George introduced me to Ted and Laura Turner-Seidel, who is the chairperson of our foundation, and I was absolutely intrigued.
And she's Ted Turner's daughter.
She's Ted Turner's daughter, right?
Don't know that. Okay.
Right. And it's interesting because, ironically enough, after I met Ted and Laura, I read a quote in the Atlanta Journal, and the quote was something to the effect of, "Many things in life will catch your eye, but only a few will catch your heart." And the Captain Planet Foundation nailed me, and I wasn't sure, do I leave the world of enterprise and move on onto the foundation side? So I'm rehabbing a new hip. I'm walking in my neighborhood, trying to rehab. I pass a neighbor who's having a garage sale. I go to garage sales religiously every 20 years, maybe. Okay, maybe not that often. Okay. Come on up here, Ira. One man's junk is another man's treasure. I walk up the driveway, and lo and behold, on a bridge table in the middle of the driveway, nothing else, is a Captain Planet cup.
Oh, wow.
Tupperware 1992.
That's funny.
I'd called my wife up and I said, I'm making the move. I mean, this is just too much. Okay,
you're giving me chill bumps right now.
Yeah. Well, so I'm here, and I'll tell you, it's a labor of love. What could be better than to work with and for children and help make a difference in their lives? So I'm thrilled to be a foundation guy, and I'm an environmentalist in training. Lots to learn.
I see. And so you kind of bring a business aspect to your business expertise, and because everything takes money. I mean, that's the way that it is.
Absolutely. We're a foundation that's excuse me, that survives and thrives by virtue of donations and events and other things. So the whole idea is, why not figure out a way that we can attach ourselves to some sort of enterprise and maybe attack it more in a business demeanor manner. And the good news is, slowly but surely, in a very challenging time, we're growing and we're making a difference. We have a lot more to go and a lot of miles to go before we sleep, but very exciting time.
That's very cool.
Yeah.
Now, what are some of the programs that you have had in the past, and can you tell me about some of the previous programs or the early programs directly related to kids?
Yeah, absolutely. What we do basically is that as well as events and maybe publish some items, and we have a very active website. Certainly viewers can go to Captain Planet FDN. F as in Frank, D is Foundation abbreviated. Okay. FDN. Okay, FDN. So CaptainPlanetFDN.org, and they can go to games, they can understand, they can get eco tips and on, geared toward children and families. But
so that was Captain Planet FDN.
Yes, Captain Planet, foundation abbreviated is F as in Frank, D as in David, and N as in Nancy.
.org to find out more information.
Yeah.
But we've got to take a short break right now, but we are going to be right back with Ira Blumenthal from Captain Planet.